You see it in the headlines, right? A huge company, a household name, just collapses. It sends shockwaves everywhere. But when it happens right after the company's auditors gave it a clean bill of health, well, that shakes something deeper. It shakes our trust. And you have to wonder, are the watchdogs that are supposed to be protecting us actually broken? Let's get into it. And look, this isn't just a one-off problem or some kind of fluke. This timeline shows a really disturbing pattern. In just a few years, you've got major companies like Carillion, Thomas Cook, and Wirecard all going under. And the one thing they all have in common? Each one got a thumbs up from an auditor shortly before the disaster. Yeah, this isn't just bad luck. This points to a systemic failure that we really need to understand.
And this isn't just a gut feeling, the research confirms it. And this quote right here, it gets straight to the heart of the matter. Audit failures aren't just continuing to happen, they are actually increasing. We are facing a deepening crisis in the very system that's supposed to give us all financial peace of mind.
So what this all boils down to is a fundamental crisis of trust. Let's really dig in and unpack why these financial guardians seem to be failing us, and, maybe more importantly, what on earth can be done about it. Okay, so to really get what's going on, you first have to look at the structure of the industry itself. See, it's dominated by this tiny group of massive firms. You've probably heard of them, the Big Four. And this concentration of power, it creates what's essentially a closed club. And the scale we're talking about here is just staggering. In 2020 alone, the Big Four pulled in a combined $157 billion. With that kind of financial muscle, they basically build a fortress around the industry. It makes it almost impossible for any smaller, potentially more innovative firms to even get in the game. Now, keeping those huge revenues in mind, this next number should honestly shock you. 0. That is exactly how much the Big Four's European subsidiaries reported for R&D investment in 2020. It suggests that any real innovation is being kept under lock and key at headquarters, not invested back into making the entire industry better. This is how you get blind spots. This, right here, is how a disaster like Wirecard happens. And this brings us to how the industry works right now, a model that researchers call semi-open innovation. Basically, the Big Four will team up with outside tech companies, sure, but they absolutely do not collaborate with each other. And the result? All that important knowledge gets trapped in separate silos. Each firm hoards its own advancements to keep a competitive edge, and that just slows down progress for everyone. So if that closed club model is the problem, what's the solution? Well, the answer might be in a total paradigm shift, something called open innovation. Open innovation is basically the polar opposite of the current system. It's all about combining resources from inside and outside the company to share knowledge freely. See, the goal isn't just to help one firm get ahead, it's to speed up innovation and improve results for the entire industry. It's a huge shift from pure competition to real collaboration. This table just lays out the difference perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you've got our current system, an oligopoly with slow innovation and these super high walls to keep others out. The whole incentive is to protect your secrets. But on the other side, with open innovation, you get cooperation, much faster progress, and lower barriers to entry, because the incentive completely shifts from secrecy to shared success and transparency. Now, open innovation is a fantastic idea in theory, but, it needs a practical tool to actually make it happen. And that's where a very specific kind of technology comes into play, and it just might be the key to unlocking this whole collaborative future. Okay, I know what you're probably thinking right now. Sharing sounds great and all, but how in the world can you get these fierce, die-hard competitors to share incredibly sensitive information without completely compromising security or client confidentiality? It seems impossible, right? Well, the answer lies in something called a permissioned blockchain. Now, the easiest way to think about it is like a shared, tamper-proof digital notary, but for businesses. The key difference from something like Bitcoin is that a central authority controls exactly who can get in and what they're allowed to see. It's a system that's built from the ground up for business-level trust and control. So how does this actually solve that huge trust problem? Well, it's really 3 key things. First, it's decentralized, so no single firm can control or mess with the ledger. Second, it's immutable. That means once data is recorded, it's there forever, which guarantees its integrity. And third, and this is the really genius part, access is precisely controlled. A governing body can give auditors permission to see only the specific data they need and nothing else. That solves the whole confidentiality problem.
So, when you combine this open innovation model with permission blockchain technology, well, you can start to imagine a very, very different future for the auditing industry, a future that actually begins to rebuild all of that broken trust. So, what does this future actually look like in the real world? We're talking about more transparency for everyone, from regulators to investors. A fairer market where smaller firms actually have a shot. Much faster, smarter fraud detection using shared data. And the ultimate prize? A massive reduction in those catastrophic corporate collapses we started with. And finally, a real chance to restore public trust in our financial systems. And so that leaves us with one big question. The model for a more collaborative, more transparent audit industry, it exists. The technology to make it all happen securely, it's here. So if we have all the tools we need to build a more trustworthy financial world, what's really stopping us?